Hi. So today, got out, ran a few errands, and what they have is a underground vendors kind of thing where you go through. Picked up a few stickers, saw some things, grabbed a few things. Hold me over for this beautiful, beautiful weekend. So we just had a couple days of absolute storms, and my house and everything out here is completely turning green, beautiful, just the way it should be for spring. It's been really gorgeous, and I'm embracing the days. So, I have a few things that I'd like to share that are inspiring to those that are out there trying to make it work. So, cheers to everybody trying to make it work. Have a little coffee and get started on really good stuff that's happening. So, I've completely healed quicker. Within like 2 weeks, I was ready to rock and roll. So I'm way out now. So I was supposed to be like 6 weeks out before I could actually like reach above my hands or do any of that kind of stuff. Going great. Recovery's been great. No big issues. Nothing. Then I also got informed just recently, which I knew this was coming. It was something I spoke about at like at the beginning of the year, that my son's working on a project, even though he has a regular, really good paying job, and he just got a promotion and a bonus, and he's getting his own crew. So he's off in the running. But what he also is doing, he's going to Vegas, which is our hometown. Hold on. Look at that. He's going to our hometown for this convention he'll be speaking at. He's got 2 minutes, but they're pitching to Shark Tank. They got accepted. So that's pretty cool. Like, I'm not really into the whole show busy, but if he's getting in right, literally launching something that is going to be our next generation of what we deal in, right? The crypto and all that. He programmed as an agent his own program, and then he sells it, kind of like, if anyone knows Ian Carroll, he made a web app, and he also made like a buyer app. Well, this is similar to what my son's done, but in this is on the grid that they're working with. And anyways, they're pitching it. It's $100,000. They got accepted. They got the letter. It's right here. If I make a video of this, otherwise I'm just going to let this go raw, and you just have to understand what I'm saying. But he heads out and he will be on stage for a 2 minute, and then pitch what they're doing. And this is going to fall just beautifully into the cryptocurrency ledger, the ledger or the XRP ledger under the NFTs. Anyways, this is grids, but they're meshing together, I would say, the Casino Society brand. So, anyways, doing really, really well. So excited for him. I wish I could actually go out there and be there on stage, just whatever. I would just love to go out there because I graduated from the Las Vegas High. I was a Vegas showgirl for years. Like, Vegas is my hometown. I could really just pitch some fun whatever. So I'm so excited for him because it's worked out really good. And he's been working on it since 2018. Really, he's going to be one of the top, above, like, the percentage of people that actually understand. Like, I don't. I just dabble in some other areas of crypto, very volatile and all that stuff. But what he's doing is a brand. It's literally, it'll just take off and do its own thing. Very excited for them. Card games. I even made up cards for him to hand out that have the Casino Society photo, the NFT type of photos that they make out in character. People can pick their own characters, and anyways, they call it casinofied. So it makes it like a brownish black, kind of rustic, old school classic speakeasy type of Casino Society is what it is, kind of reverting back to nostalgia. retro. So that's a kickoff. Awesome. Plus the promotion, plus a bonus, and then his own crew, a foreman, after just a year. Like, so this is part of the infrastructure contracts that are going out. Now, I have a little issue with some of them, right? I've spoken out about that. But this type of contract and where he is, and he's just going to work it for about a year. He's got plans. He's getting his pilot's license so that he can fly himself. And mom, we'll get a plane, and we're getting a land strip and land. And he's got so many. I just love it. I'm like, let's go. So anyways, and we'll keep this house as, you know, this is my investment home, and great brick. It's insulated. It's one of a kind. It has nothing to do with these little cracker box. You know, every other home looks the same. You get to pick between 3 colors, and the frame of the house, there's only whatever. These community type smart city blocks and whatever, or the high rise. I'm in a great little location, and my house here in the Midwest. So that's a yay, doing very, very well, and so excited. And then the other, I'm going to kind of tip on a little bit about how I see maybe some of the stuff's going on here. What I do see is so much propaganda, so much manipulating people. We're in that 1984 Wilson. How many fingers am I showing? And he's literally saying how many fingers the guy is showing. He's like, no, you see 4. So don't believe your lying eyes. Like, that whole thing is in such heavy promotion and propaganda right now that, gosh, I just pray people have discernment to really see the difference of what's happening out there. The other would be the manipulation of one day we're on, one day we're off, one day it's open, one day we're blocking, kind of that whole thing. Well, when you really look at it, they're just manipulating the markets. And his son and his daughter-in-law actually are involved. Well, there's 2 different things they're involved in. That one is a FARA that is actually registered to a foreign government, and that is promoting their brand of, it's a whole little circuit of them. Like, you can look it up online, but it's the influencers and that type of thing being paid big O money, not just a $7,000 club for a post. So they're involved in that. Plus, I will add that the son, Junior, back in October of 2024, joined the board of the Drone Life. And then shortly after that, in like December 2025, or 2024, and then just January, February 2025, we had the big rollout of all these like alien type spacecraft. No, they're drones. And he sits on the board, and they did a major investment in it. And then the WEF actually speaks about how do we build the community trust, the, you know, worldwide, their trust on starting to roll out this technology. And what they're getting at is the blockchain technology, everybody being on a UBI type of income because your jobs would be taken away by the AI, right? So I see that, but I thought it was kind of comical that his dad, once he got in office, had to come out, because I was kind of pressing it a little bit here and there. Like, I know you joined Drone Life, and then this awkward rollout on the American peeps, trying to give some psychological war on, oh, the aliens are coming, right? No, it's drones. And you can look it up. You can see they haven't come out on the market, but they're really kind of very interesting. And they are working on propulsion and anti-gravity. But anyways, the drones work off something else. Curious that the scientists are going. They're making that, like, they're going. There's like 11 now. They're up to 11 people that are gone, ex-nay, something, over propulsion systems and anti-gravity. So that will come out eventually. We've had it probably 50 plus years reverse engineered, and we just have it. The other thing that I was going to say is he sits on the board of Polymarket. So they're basically betting against the demise of small children, buildings, this, that. And they make like, it's a betting. It's casino society times 1,000 what they're doing and the profits they make off of it, because daddy is able to kind of set the tone through random ass tweets, that really are setting the ups and the lows, because the market kind of goes off of whether or not the strait's open, oil's flowing, whatever. So my point is if we have so many reserves and we can sell our gas and we're sitting pretty and we're supposedly in this golden age, why are our prices of gas so high? Why not bring them down to the picture that I took in 2017 over at Spirit gas station, and it said $1.28 for gas? That was in 2017. Why can't we have that? Why can't we have our prices down? The milk, the eggs, because they want you to feel the pain so that you will accept what's coming in the next wave, which is basically a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. They did their little stress test in 2020, and 80% of humanity basically lost the stress test. They just lost. 80% are willing to just follow what the government tells them to do. That's sad. Nobody's willing to just do the work on their own. And now we're at a point that those that had spoken out, they don't quite get it. They keep referring to the chosen one, right? Like, this is in WEF in 2015, there's a newsletter that came out of how this will go about and how they're going to consolidate nation states, and it will be through tariffs and trade routes. And if they don't comply, then basically you're seeing what you're seeing. Maduro, the thing about Iceland, then over there with Iran, and now we've got our eyes set on Cuba. So if you look up, that's just WEF in 2015. Skip to 2018, and Donald Trump ran a speech introduced by Klaus Schwab. And before he starts his speech, he said he had met 15 tech bros the night before, which are now his BFFs. That's 2018. Then you skip to 2019, he signs an EO for 5G towers to be blanketed across America during the lockdown, which was pre-designed. And then Biden comes in and just fulfills the agenda, because there's no two parties. Okay, it's one bird, two wings. And hopefully people are waking up to that. The agenda's set in place for 2030. And so then after you have that, then 2020 comes, and everybody's supposed to go out and take something that is not legally or FDA or nothing approved. This has not been tested literally on the little ones, the little rats and stuff like that. They died of what they call a sudden adult syndrome, which is sudden death. And then they stopped the testing. So now we are the human guinea pigs, and that's what happened in 2020. And now you're starting to notice the people that are filled with this graphene oxide metals that are crossing the blood barrier brain, and then those metals will work from magnetism. So if you had like a sketchboard or something that you're able to write something, then you go back over it and crush it, that's magnetism. That's the graphene underneath it. That's graphene oxide that creates the design, and then you go and you erase it and do it. Well, that's a magnetism. And if you took a jar with that graphene, you can go like this, and the graphene will follow it, and then it bunches together, and it's self-assimilating. And what that is basically a conduit within the body that crosses the blood barrier, so that when the 5G sets off pulses, or once they get the data centers all set up and where they're going with it, which I have another one on that will collect all of the geofencing that they're doing on churches and big gatherings and ballpark games, you name it. It's getting geofenced, which would be like the Snowden thing. They're watching everything and whatever. That's basically spying on Americans and skipping the loophole and saying it's legal, which don't really think it is. So that's what we're up against on that end of it. The other is, for me personally, I went up on February 17th, about a month, 2 months ago now. I went up in just the city council here in this little small town, and I went up against my brother, who's a billionaire and has farmland in this little Midwest town. And when he first moved out here, I remember, years ago, 15, 20, almost 20. But anyways, his whole intention was to build a community kind of like what we have out in Vegas. There's like the Green Valley and Summerlin and all, they're just built to where they're kind of a community. They're not 15-minute cities, but they are very convenient. They've got all the homes, and then close by they've got all the marketplaces that they can go to. So they don't have to go so far into town and do their thing. Well, that's what he came here, and then he got the contract right after the big tornado literally almost took out this town where I'm at in 2011. So then he got the contract for the church that had blown off its foundation. So that's on his property. He got an old folks home, retirement like old folks home. And then he's got all the cul-de-sacs of homes that he sold, family units. And then he's got the millionaire type homes that they built in the forestry or cut back into and built their homes for him. That property is commercial. What he has gone and done is he annexed off his land to an NDA, which would be China. Let's not kid ourselves. And it's not to be disclosed. And then the people that come in, which are called upscalers, would be Meta, Facebook, Oracle, Palantir, any one of these big tech bro corps. They're the ones that would bring in this very noisy, water consuming, environmentally not tested at all. Ohio's being overran by it, but that's a whole nother story that has to do with the Einstein guy, and that's kind of where that's like their pilot city, their beta city, where they're starting off and they're trying to put it's everywhere. So where I am here, we went up against it. Basically, I just spoke my mind of being like, that's my brother. I haven't spoken to him in 10 years. It comes from greed. It happened with my dad when he passed. Saw it right through my own family. So very aware. But I feel that he's not fully educated. And being that they're all very judgmental, in the whole religious sector and stuff like that, which is so ridiculous because they have no idea that they're actually paying their dues to the devil to build the structure for the beast system in its whole. So, So what happened after that, I found out whoever was listening to me, I was one of the last speakers. My brother went before me and they heckled him. And then with me, they were like, yeah, because I'm standing up against the power part of it, power structure. I just found out maybe about 3 weeks, a month ago, that a family, a wife and husband, who are lawyers, that bought their home to retire on his property out there where they want to build this 560-acre data center, which basically when you annex it and then build that, it turns it into industrial. It's not commercial anymore. So the lawyer has it really, the residents have it good because in their contract, when they bought their home, it literally states in there, you're not allowed to do anything to the wildlife that surrounds in that farming area. That's in their contract, buying their home. So who in their right mind would want to spend $300,000 up to $1 million for a home in a community that you thought you were going to retire in? And in your contract says you can't do anything to the land, like you can't disturb the wildlife. We need to leave it. You can do what you want with your yard and all that, but like that farmland and out, that's to be left alone. But what happened is my brother turned around and he basically outsold all these people that bought their homes 15 something years ago thinking we're going to retire, it's peaceful out here. The noise level, and then they're talking about putting a barrier up, which would just be shrubberies or whatever. So now these people that live there, the residents, are suing the mayor, who's no longer in office, and all the council people, which we just got rid of literally all of them. They did not run again. The four that apparently this was all done like the year before in February 2025, and they were stating that they didn't have communication. So this is going on in every little town, every little country across our, it's literally happening everywhere. It just happened to hit me close at home, and I'm expressing what went down. So now the mayor's been replaced with it's the same thing. The guy used to sit on the county commissioner board too, so he's been in here for 20-30 years himself. Now he's our new mayor. Hopefully, they say they're going to listen to the people, but the problem that we're running up against, I'll get along further, in 2025, December 2025, because people are showing up at these council meetings and pushing back against these data centers, DJT signed an EO basically stating that local state levels have no say in this infrastructure that's going in. That this is a done deal, and this is where we're going for 2030. So all of our voices and everything, even though it's not been tested, people are being affected by the frequency waves. The ones that were injected are basically, they're tripping out. Let's just be honest. They're all acting like Karens, male or female. They're all freaking out. Their minds are scrambled because the metals that are in there and the frequency waves that are going, and because people don't know, take a minute, sit down, ground your butt, touch grass, the latest saying, right? But I mean, I've been doing it all my life. Clear your body, drink enough minerals, like get yourself clear, because they are stuffing us with, between the food, the air, and injections, and then your Wi-Fi from your TV, your computer, your laptop, your phone, the meters on the side of your house, the 5G on it. That's a lot of different frequencies happening. You need to protect your temple the best you can, clear it out so that you can make positive connection, so that you have discernment. And you're not sitting there praising somebody that you know is in the Palm Beach pedophiles. And nobody wants to talk about it. But we will go over, and I ran to go check out the news, right? It's crazy. So hopefully we only have a couple more years of this, and then people are kind of pushing back. Look what's happened with CK and Eric EK and that whole debacle. It's coming out. It's coming out. You're not going to push something like that on the people who are starting to speak out. And so eventually they're going to want to take away your free will, your voice, your opinion, and all that, because it doesn't fit their narrative. They're not into that. They don't want you thinking for yourself. That's why the whole Neuralink and all that, so that they can input and subdue the population to go along with the narrative and what they want. They just want complete control. And the other would be, look up, I think it's Elon's, one of his 11 wives. I don't know, I mean, 11 kids, I have no idea. But anyways, one of them, this one that was a singer, nonchalantly is sitting there over like a Zoom call. And she basically is stating yeah, this is the new thing. And they plan on doing the, which would be like a patch. It's very, you can't see it, but it will just patch on to you, where it goes in a Neuralinking type of a patch. And then you can receive the downloads and all, just some pretty high tech stuff. But in the middle of her speaking, she just casually drops out and says, well, the issue is we've got overpopulation. And so, well, there's going to be a mass depopulation here coming soon. They've all been saying it. It's just kind of bizarre. The other I'm going to throw in that is, I'm seeing with the farmers, is that, and Maha, is the Lyme disease shots, 4 doses, because they're putting boxes on farms that are affecting the animals that we're going to be eating, because they don't want you eating meat. So this particular disease they've designed is so that you're allergic to meat going forward. Now, I'm not a big meat eater myself, but those who are, they want you to not eat meat. Z-bugs is what they want you for. Z-bugs. What the are these people? This is the control issue is just off the charts. And then you have Gates of Hell, who has bought up so much land, but it's to make this processed 3D food for the masses. He says it. And DJ T's had him to the Mar-a-Lago like 3 times to discuss how this will go down, like how they'll feed the people when we have either a grid go down, a EMP, whether that's synthetic or natural. At this point, nobody can tell. But that's what they need to do. They need to make you feel the pain enough that you just go, oh, I give up. And everybody goes on the UBI, stays home. And if you're not creative, you die. I guarantee you. If you don't get creative and start stimulating your own brain and stop worrying about using technology and devices to give you ideas, to show you. Like when I was a kid, we used paper maps to drive across country. I loved it. Look at the people. Went to AAA, got them, give me a line all the way where I was going. The second time I drove across country, I was only 21. This is the greatest time of my life. Listening to my song, Here I Go Again by Whitesnake, over and over, and just traveling. Left with $300 from AC. Actually worked for Donald Trump in a show called City Lights at the Trump's Castle in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And after 2.5 years I got there, I was 18. I just turned 19. I put braces on my teeth. This is another thing I was going to say. I put braces on my teeth because they were pretty jacked up as a kid growing up. And my family, I was the baby of 8. And there wasn't a lot of money. It was just my dad. My mom died before I was 2. And so what happened is I thought, well, I'm going to put the braces on. So at 19 I do. By the time I'm 20 comes, I come out in the very beginning number. I would come out center stage and the curtains would open. I would come out center stage and then I would go off to these side stages. So I was over on the side stages while the big performance is here. And then I was doing my thing on the side stage as a kind of like a lead, but you stand, it was just huge costume. Anyways, he told my stage manager at the time, I want her mushed into the background because I don't like her face. She looks like she's got a horse mouth. I was 19. Devastated. Like, wait a minute. I've been in this show like over 1.5 years and now you're like, yeah, I understand my teeth were coming because they put the braces on the backside so that they wouldn't glow from the lights. And then down here I had plastic, but I had like this space gear on that was pulling my teeth out first. So I definitely had more like an angle where it was coming out so that they could drop the teeth down and then pull them back. That was the procedure I was going. I was paying my own money. I was 3,000 miles away from home. I was a kid, right? I sat on those stairs and I remember her telling me, he wants to mush you in the background. And I remember being so strong in my heart and knowing who I am. I'm trying to better myself. I'm paying my rent. I'm doing what so many kids at this age, they'll never accomplish. I'm not being above them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I was so focused by 12, 13 years old on literally what I was going to do. No college, didn't need it. I knew what I was going to do. I got paid to do what I love. Round trip tickets, contracts, premium, room and board, and I got to see the world. Okay, but that particular situation, I was paying my rent, I was paying for my braces, the whole bit. So what I told my manager sitting there, I just said, look, save me my dignity and fire me, and I'll go find another job. But do not mush me in the background. Do you know I never was mushed in the background, and I left with my dignity at 21 years old, drove across country, had a contract waiting for me, spent a couple weeks in Vegas, went to California, dropped my car with my girlfriend, flew to Mexico City, and was able to, we needed to find a girl for the show. You have to, when you go out of country, you got to find one person that works in that country to be in the show. So we were in Mexico City for a couple weeks. I went to the Aztec pyramids, was treated to just authentic Mexican food. The whole bit was great. And then we made our way down to Acapulco. And I was down in Acapulco. And so I traded out 2.5 years in Atlantic City, which I would never want to go back to the East Coast. It's just grimy and old. It's old world architecture that's been revamped thousands of years. I have no idea, but New York, it's just Scumsville. And if you go back to the 1800 pictures and look at it, the brickwork for supposedly just being built, it's just decrepit. Okay, like people just wake up. It's all been reset, and then we came in, the founders, and put our people in, and like the orphan trains to like for minimal labor, and they, it's just a lot. Okay, and I ended up out in Vegas, being born and raised. So I made my way back, and I got down into Acapulco and was living in paradise at 21 years old, which is a whole nother scenario. But anyways, the reason why I was able to pick that out years later in 2016 during the debate, this guy is telling the lady, it's just so it's kids stuff. It's really just to degrade. And when I heard him, even though I voted twice, I voted twice to get his ass in. The third time, this last one, I volunteered so that the government pays me, because I don't want to be on the caste. That's what they're going for, a caste system. It's going to be tiered just like China. If you listen to the 2018 WEF speech, he explains exactly what we're doing. It comes with beautiful little color charts and everything. So those are their goals, if you really want to have a reference of where we're going and what's happening. And the way to get there, it's called Neo-Gramscian Hegemonic Order. Military is the only way to consolidate nation states through tariffs and trade routes. It's basically how they're going to get it done. And everybody wants to talk about how, he's showing this one off and he's getting out of this. No, they just were in the WEF presenting the Board of Peace with unelected officials that are literally writing out how the next phases are going to go. So they have not cut the cord with them. So all these people that are saying, this is what's happening, and we're sticking it to the globalists, they're just full of it. They're full of it. They're lying to themselves. You're lying to yourself. So wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Let's go. Wake up. I'm not lying to myself. However the turnout comes, I just know in my heart, I'm happy. I'm rolling around. I just told my son today, I'm riding your coattails when it comes to this whole blockchain and da-da-da, because he knows it. He gets it. He's playing it. He's going to make major money off of it. He's doing what little Don Jr.'s doing for Mom. It's basically what's happening. And it's not, if you can't beat him, join him thing. It's pick up your stack and play your game the best you can while you're down here with them. That's what's going on. I'm really happy for my son. I'm disappointed in the messaging. I'm disappointed in the targeting of certain people. I'm disappointed in the psyops that are happening. I'm disappointed in the approach of degrading people on their physical appearance and that type of thing. I was in